Hello, and welcome to my channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the element of water. So the purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that you may have recognized in retrospect and get some advice about what you can do moving forward. So take a look at the timestamps below to find the video that resonates with you the most deeply, and I will see you there. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Cancer. So we're going to take a look at something that you may have come to a realization of after experiencing it and having a chance to look back and kind of digest what you experienced and what you realized as a result of that. We're also going to take a look at some advice on what you can do to integrate what you recognized so that you can be in your authentic truth. All right. So looking back, it appears that you realized that you are not quite nurturing your relationships because you may have been battling a little bit of depression. And I feel like this came from this sense of not being able to attract people who were truly connecting with you from a space of sincerely appreciating who you are. And there's just this sense that you didn't have a lot of opportunities and abundance as far as people that you could interact with that you felt were people of substance, like they weren't being superficial or just interacting with you on a very surface level. I feel like what you were looking for specifically in a romantic way was true love and fidelity. And it almost became this situation where it was like this unicorn that you were trying to seek out, which became for you rather just almost unattainable. Just having a good experience with a real true friend. All right. This could be romantic or platonic. All right. So I'm picking up that you, as a result of these repeat experiences that you were having, it kind of puts you into a state where you were beginning to restrict yourself and not interact with people. And I feel like this became a pattern for you. And you may have even started to take on the attitude that everybody was like that, and that there just wasn't an opportunity for you to have a true, genuine connection with others in this way, because you had so many experiences that seemed to be showing you that that was not a reality for you. So let's take a look at the advice that you have so that you can know what you can do moving forward to integrate what you began to realize. Because I'm picking up that because you felt this way, you might have blocked people off and just not had high hopes for your interactions or friendships or your social life. But you're recognizing that it's coming from this place. It's coming from a place of having negative expectations because of a cycle that you were in, not because that's the absolute truth. All right. So it's funny that I said that, because the card that you have for integrating this and moving forward from this is listening for truth. And in this card, this person is kind of listening to like a seashell. So I feel like this is trying to connect with the deeper truth underneath the surface. So if you felt like you were having a lot of surface relationships, maybe having superficial connections with people that just were not deep or true, and then you found out after you maybe came up against a roadblock or an obstacle, or people show their face and you recognized, oh wow, this is such a superficial type of situation, and it may have made you feel like, oh, this keeps happening. Why is it that I can't have this experience? Well, it's because I feel that you might have been kind of tuning out the truth, because when you had a red flag or you picked up intuitively that there was something off about the connection, you tended to try to drown it out, because it was just too much to have to accept the fact that perhaps it wasn't all that you were hoping that it would be. I mean, I feel like you just kept thinking that you were picking up this unicorn of a person, and in this, it means just a good friend, like you're so lucky and fortunate to have met this person, and then you find out that it's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. So this card is speaking to not being afraid to not only listen for the truth, but to heed it, and to not be afraid to take a different turn and do something different so that you can align with people and situations and opportunities that are going to reflect back the type of interactions that you want to have with others, all right, and the types of experiences that you want to have. So let's take a look here, and I want to read the healing affirmation for this. Okay. So it says to place your hand very lightly at the front and back of your throat. All right, and this is because we are connecting with our throat chakra, our ability to not only listen for the truth, but then to speak it once we have come to a realization of it, to be able to speak that out, particularly in our relationships, and let people know what's true for you and what you can and cannot accept, okay? All right, and it says to say, I now release all vows of silence I have ever made, consciously or not. I now release all lies, deceptions, and painful words, spoken or unspoken, that are affecting my ability to clearly know and speak my truth. I am held in unconditional love with protection and grace. So be it. Then you can also say, within me, beyond all that rises and falls, only truth remains. So this is being said in an effort to make it okay for you to speak up about something that doesn't resonate for you. It's about speaking up when someone is saying something about you that doesn't resonate with you, and recognizing that it's okay to remove yourself from situations that do not honor who you are, what you're about, or what it is that you're trying to be. All right. So, all right, Cancer, this is what I have for your hindsight reading. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Scorpio. So we're going to take a look at something that you realized looking back, and what you can do to integrate the realization that you had into your future steps that you are going to be taking moving forward. So it appears that looking back, you recognized that you struggled with your self-confidence and having the courage to enter into slightly confrontational, competitive situations where you had to exert your energy and assert yourself in an authoritative and diplomatic way. I feel as if you didn't feel as if you were in your power. You did not feel as if you were being respected because it wasn't a part of your personality. Like it wasn't a natural part of your character. And it appeared as if other people picked that up and they kind of reacted in that way to you. As if you were not that person. And so I feel like, you could have been in a leadership position, or you may have had situations where you had to step up in that way. And because it felt so unnatural, and because you just were not comfortable with that, you had some experiences that may not have been very empowering for you. I feel like you also recognized that some of this came from not getting affirmations, perhaps even in childhood, of your ability to be like your own autonomous person. I feel like there was like some kind of issue with autonomy, and you just didn't really have maybe a lot of positive reinforcement. And so as a result of that, you don't quite give yourself that positive reinforcement. You might even wake up in the morning thinking negatively about yourself, or maybe having fears about what you're going to come up against, and feeling more beset upon by your environment in the world and your situations, as opposed to like feeling like you're getting up and you're just going to meet each challenge and that you can overcome those things successfully. I feel like there was just this very strong sense that perhaps you couldn't. And so because you believe that, it kind of made that even more real for you. But I feel like you're also recognizing that you have been working on it, and it's something that you've recognized and that you're trying to get past. You're trying to see yourself, see the power within yourself, and to respect the power within yourself so that you can actually emanate that from the inside out, from a place of you believing that, so that you don't have to project it in such a way to make people believe something that you don't believe about yourself. So let's take a look at what you can do to move forward and to integrate this. The card that I have for you here is faith in the process, right? And this to me is saying that this could be such a deeply rooted thing that goes all the way back to your earliest experiences, that it is going to be important for you to connect with something perhaps that's higher than yourself, or that you perceive as having some type of power innately that can help you while you are going through this healing work and this process of seeing the fullness of who you are and respecting the fullness of who you are, and feeling comfortable in sharing that with the world and standing in your power. A lot of people do this when they connect with spiritual systems or beliefs. Sometimes they will connect with the deity, or they will connect with some sort of avatar that allows them to take on the attributes that they don't naturally feel for themselves, so that they can cultivate that and see that in ways that they may not have been able to because of their life experiences. Especially if it was you have a part of your personality that is kind of hindering you because it was reinforced, especially in early childhood, through experiences that taught you that, this is not who you are, or you can't be this person. Okay. So let's take a look at some words for healing that can help in this situation. All right. So we're going to say aloud, I now ask that all disappointing experiences of the past that have led me to believe that life is not trustworthy, or that faith is a silly or immature to deal with life, be released from my mind, body, and heart. I ask for help to accept that I can and will attract all that is needed into my life at the perfect time and in the perfect way. I ask to be empowered to absolutely receive all that can assist me with gratitude and without shame or guilt. In doing so, I dedicate myself to be a clear, loving, open channel for the flow of life. I know the benefit in doing so is not limited to me, but will flow so that life can benefit others through me. I trust in this now. Through unconditional love, so be it. All right. And this is something that you can repeat each day as an affirmation. You can also find other affirmations that support you in standing in your power, seeing your own inherent power, understanding your authority within yourself, to be who you are, to stand up for the things that you believe in, and to impact your specific world in the way in which you see fit. All right. And this can be very helpful in just kind of not necessarily a rewiring, but maybe just even reprogramming how you process yourself and your role in the world. Okay. All right. So, Scorpio, this is what I have for your hindsight reading. I hope it was helpful for you. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be days, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Pisces. So the purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that you may have realized in retrospect or in hindsight. We are also going to get some advice about what we can do moving forward so that we can integrate what we realized and move forward in a way that honors that and allows us to incorporate that into our vision of our future. All right, so it appears that what you recognized in hindsight is that you were not quite listening to your intuition about a situation that you might have been able to easily overcome because you had the ability to do it, but you chose not to. I feel like whatever this was, looking back, you realize that you were not honoring yourself and raising your standards or keeping in alignment with the things that you value or that mean something to you. And you may have allowed, some things to kind of occur that you could have stopped, but that you made a decision to not take action on. And as a result of that, you went through some adversity and some trials and tribulations that you may not have necessarily had to. But, when we go through these experiences, nothing is ever in vain. Even if we choose to take a path that's harder for us or that's going to lead us into problems and things that become obstacles for us that we may not have had to deal with if we chose a different path, you still learned something and gained something from that because there was something going on that was making you not choose to walk away or go in another direction or not take a path that was going to lead to some form of possible suffering or just things that you could have avoided. And I feel like you recognize this in retrospect. You're able to see this. I feel like you also recognize that that you had opportunities to do things or to go in a direction that was going to be more in alignment with who you were, your actual heart's desire. But I feel like what might have underlied this is this sense that you were not going to have prosperity coming in, or that you weren't going to have lots of opportunities, or that it just seems as if maybe there was a lack of opportunities in certain things, or you weren't sure that this was going to be the thing that was going to be a sign of prosperity for you. And so as a result of that, you didn't go for something that intuitively you knew was appropriate for you on your path, and that it was something that would have allowed you to overcome something that might have been holding you back. But because you associated this thing with, I'm almost picking up like a false sense of prosperity or abundance, you didn't want to let go of that. And so you recognize that you may have had some struggles because of that. So moving forward, the advice that you have here to help you integrate this is inner trust. All right. So this is about connecting with your true self and allowing your intuition and your inner wisdom to guide you, and not only just recognize that it's there, but to actually allow it to guide you and to not ignore it, or even more, to ignore it or deny it and intentionally walk into situations that you know are going to lead to problematic situations for yourself. Like we said, when these things happen, nothing is ever in vain. Usually there's something that we have to learn or work out within ourselves when we choose to willingly go into situations that we know are going to not necessarily go in our favor. It's because we are needing to learn something and gain some valuable wisdom that we may be missing, or that we want to experience. And sometimes that happens. So sometimes we do want to actually experience suffering, or we do actually want to experience hard times or obstacles because we want to know that we can get out of those situations. And when we take that path, sometimes we do get out of them and sometimes we don't. But you learn a lot in the process, and I feel like that is what happened. But moving forward, I think that because of this situation, and after looking at kind of like the aftermath of that, you're looking at it more so as, I am going to actually believe and trust myself in situations that seem like they're challenging, or in situations where I'm not quite sure what would be the best, outcome. I'm going to trust that my higher self knows how this is going to end, and that it's not going to lead me always into situations that are going to not be for my highest good. So let's listen to the healing process for this. And these are just words of affirmation that can help us incorporate this. It says, place your hands on your heart and say aloud or think very clearly, I trust in the love of my heart. Place your hands on your stomach and say aloud or think very clearly, I trust in my instincts. Place your hands on your belly and say aloud or think very clearly, I trust in the flow of life. Say the following aloud. I trust myself. I trust in my higher self. I trust in life. When I don't know, my higher self does know. I am guided by the wise voice of my higher self within my heart. I trust myself and I allow myself to be guided in all things by the wise, instinctive knowing within. I am not afraid to be seen. I unveil myself from my hiding places, and step by step, I show myself with all my unique beauty to the world. I am seen and I am received with love by myself and by others. I am worthy. Okay. So, Pisces, this is what I have for your hindsight reading. I hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye.